Hi guys, what's up? Dax here. Today we are here with a preview of the 2016 Russian Grand Prix. Normally, well, for the last couple of years at least, it's been towards the end of the season, but this year we are treated to an early Russian Grand Prix, and to be perfectly honest, I really enjoy watching the races around this track. I mean, something about it that I just like watching. The track is kind of cool, it's kind of a bit different. It's not like all the rest of the Tilkodromes that we all sort of complained about in recent sort of Formula 1 history, but I think this is a pretty decent track, so I'm looking forward to this. But nonetheless, let's have a look at the standings in 2016 so far. Obviously, Nico Rosberg dominating the first three races of the season. Well, dominating in terms of getting all three wins. He wasn't fastest in a lot of them, actually. I mean, Lewis Hamilton had pole position for two of them. Lewis Hamilton had pole position in Australia and Bahrain. But at the end of the day, you don't get points for pole position, you don't get points for fastest laps, you get points for race winning, or winning the race I should say. And Lewis Hamilton is a huge amount back. He's 36 points back from Nico Rosberg after three races, which is kind of insane that it's over a race win, made up in three races, which is crazy stuff. But Nico Rosberg on fine form in the first sort of three races of the season here. I'm happy for him, because I think it would be great for Formula 1 if there is a new race winner. New championship winner, because let's be honest, it's all well and good having the same person win every single season, but it does get boring. And I think if F1 wants to get some of its fans back, it needs to show that it's competitive. It needs to show that, well, let's be honest, it needs to show that not one guy wins every single year, because everyone's like, what's the point of watching it if the same guy's going to win every single time? So really good seeing Nico Rosberg getting the victories under his belt here. 75 points, the maximum out of those first three races, which is great. And something which actually slightly annoyed me over the last couple of weeks, Lewis Hamilton coming out and saying, they should experiment with races this season, because basically he's losing and he's not doing as well as Rosberg, is what I read into that. I mean, like, seriously? Just because you're not doing too well at the start of this season, Lewis, doesn't mean you have to try and drag Nico through some dirt to try and, get back some points or whatever. But at least that's what I just saw. I mean, maybe that was like a fake article or something. But, not good sportsmanship if that's the case. Lewis Hamilton wanting to sort of make the F1 people change it up a little bit so he's got more of a chance. So that's what I saw nonetheless, but let's not worry about that. That's for another video completely. A load of dislikes. Completely, I'm sure. But yeah, the first three races, Rosberg did really well. But the Russian Grand Prix, in the past, it has, well, the last two races at least, have been sort of dominated by Lewis Hamilton. I think, to be perfectly honest, he probably is the better driver around him here. Remember back to the 2014 Grand Prix when Rosberg ran down to turn one and, well, locked up his tyres, and, everyone was like, that could be the championship for Nico Rosberg there. He just locked up. Well, he looked terribly down to turn one, trying to get past Lewis Hamilton, and then he ended up, well, losing a huge amount of time, obviously, having to pit in the first lap and then do a whole race on like one set of tyres, basically. But last season was not too great for Rosberg either. He retired actually from last year's race with a throttle problem, and even though he got pole position there, that throttle problem obviously not helping him out. He retired on lap number 7, and that meant Lewis Hamilton grabbed the second race in Russia in a row. So, in my opinion, the luck is with Hamilton. Hamilton is going to win this Russian Grand Prix. He needs to win this Russian Grand Prix. I mean, he's had bad luck in the first three races, obviously. It was a second, third, and a seventh, I think, is the result so far. Second, third, and a seventh. So, even though he's been fast, he just hasn't been consistent enough in there. I mean, look, Raikkonen have finished ahead of him in Bahrain, and then Vettel, Kvyat, and a few other people finished ahead of him in China, where everything just seemed to go against him after having that grid penalty. But I'm excited to see what happens here, because, to be perfectly honest, I feel the championship is going to be a lot closer this year. I mean, obviously Hamilton's having some bad luck, which, if we assume he is the better driver still, that's going to close the championship up. I mean, that gap that Rosberg's got at the moment, you can finish second place for like the next 4 or 5 races and still be pretty much there. I mean, I think if he finishes second and in the next 4 races and Hamilton wins, he'll still be ahead of Lewis Hamilton by the time we get to the European Grand Prix in Azerbaijan. So I'm looking forward to that as well in a few races' time. But it's Russia, and, well, this could be a really good one. I think, personally, Hamilton's going to take the win. Rosberg's probably going to have some bad luck once again. He doesn't seem to have a nice, clean race in Russia, but who knows? Maybe it's just, you know, destined to be Rosberg's year this year. Maybe Rosberg will take another victory and just take a massive championship lead. I mean, who knows? I mean, it would be great for Formula 1, as I said, but, you know, you feel at some point, surely, Lewis Hamilton has got to get a victory, but Rosberg's dominated the first 3 races, but Hamilton, to be perfectly honest, he's been fast, and obviously a couple of them as well. You know, he's been pole position on 2 of them, obviously, and he probably could have been pole position in the 3rd if he didn't have all those penalties and problems. So it's surprising to see, obviously, Lewis Hamilton get such a bad start to a season, but I'm sure he'll fight back. I'm sure he'll be in a championship battle towards the end of the season here. But Rosberg, he's got a nice advantage here, but we have to talk about some other teams. Red Bull were incredibly quick around China, which is a track which we could completely not expect them to be fast at. Obviously, they're always sort of really good with the downforce and everything on their car, but the power of their engine actually looks good. That whatever it is, what Tag Heuer is it? Sponsored Renault powered engine looks decent. It looks pretty good in a straight line, and I think the engines are very close this year. I don't think there's like a big difference between any of the engines, which is great. Which means it's basically who's got the best car, and that means that the Red Bull is certainly closer to the Mercedes, and the Ferraris were closer to the Mercedes as well this year. But I want to see what happens. I mean, I do think Ferrari and Red Bull honestly do have a chance at some legit victories this year. I mean, if we have another race like we did last year in Singapore where Mercedes just didn't turn up, I think, you know, we honestly, you know, we could have a completely different second half of the season. If we come back after the break, we could have people like Vettel and Ricciardo going for this championship if they're still close enough. So, even though it's been a great start for Rosberg, I honestly feel the Red Bull and the Ferraris this year have a legitimate chance of going for this championship. They just need to find a few more tenths of a second. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm going to go with the Lewis Hamilton win with Rosberg in 2nd place. I'm going to take Daniel Ricciardo in 3rd place, Sebastian Vettel in 4th place, 5th place for Kvyat, and 6th place for Kimi Raikkonen. Bit random. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's been Alex about it. Goodbye.